Today I will be scientifically proving why Little Red Cap is the greatest story written of all time. Now, many people know the story of Little Red Cap, but there's no underlying theme at the end, unless you know the actual truth. The truth that I've come up with, and I think is the real definitive answer to this heart-wrenching story. On the surface, Little Red Cap is about a story of a young girl who takes food to her grandmother but gets stopped by a conniving wolf. The wolf tells Little Red Cap to stop and pick flowers for her grandmother. Unfortunately, by the time Little Red Cap arrives to the house, Grandma's gone, and soon so is she. Now hear me out. This may be far-fetched, but I think I have enough evidence to back it up. If you remember last videos, I talked about something called Schrodinger's cat. In this, we're going to go a little bit more in depth on what I was talking about, but now we're going to be talking about the multiverse theory. The way this works, it's not like there's infinite possibilities for things that are impossible to happen. It's more of improbable. You can't think of time as something that's linear. It's more like a tree of branching universes. Now, say someone goes back in time and kills you. The world tree, or the branches, will separate from going on one path to another, leading to a world where you don't exist and a world where you keep on living. Now that you understand the basic concept, I'm going to explain why I think that Little Red Cap has the ability to remember past world lines. Now, to set the record straight, I think the goal of Little Red Cap is to reach something I like to call Steins Gate. Steins Gate is the world where Little Red Cap doesn't have to experience getting eaten or grandmother getting eaten by the wolf. So far, through thorough analysis, I can conclude that Little Red Cap was in an alpha world, but did something to shift the world to a beta world. Now, Little Red Cap has to shift the divergence meter back to an alpha so she can reach a point where she can get to Steins Gate. But messing with time brings unforeseen consequences that changes everything. Early signs of Little Red Cap trying to shift the divergence meter back to an alpha world can be seen. When the wolf tells the girl to start picking flowers, she didn't hesitate and thought of it kindly. No matter how innocent you are, humans have basic instincts like fight or flight, telling Little Red Cap to run. But I think she's experienced this a little too many times, and now she's trying to change the divergence meter by picking flowers instead of running away like she may have done in a previous encounter. But the biggest giveaway has to be when the story continues and Little Red Cap is seen in another timeline. They don't outright say it, but you can tell. In the next timeline, Little Red Cap and her grandmother legitimately outright murder a wolf. There's no remorse, unless she is not the girl that we think she is. What if she's something different? It's been looking at us in the face the whole time. I think that Little Red Cap isn't in fact human to begin with. The fox was speaking perfect English, meaning she couldn't be a girl. That's why I think that she's a Sugi Momo. I'm sure you realized it now. What I intentionally left out. Her grandmother gave her a red velvet cap, hence why she's called Little Red Cap. But what if she wasn't a little girl and she was actually the cap, personified into a Sugimomo. If you don't know, a Sugimomo is an item that's been passed down for generation to generation that personifies and becomes somewhat human. Don't you understand? It's clearly obvious. The Japanese sent men back in time to spread the word of manga and anime before it started, so they can get a jump start on all of the populations. That's right, everything. The whole Little Red Cap story was just an anime, and you all fell for it too. In all seriousness, that's what these stories allow you to do. They allow you to think outside the box and leave things ambiguous for you to fill in instead of making things all clear cut. The ambiguosity, along with the fact that there's major character progression in the story, you really start to understand for these characters. That's why I think that this is one of the greatest, if not the best story of all time. We haven't really explained why scientifically this is one of the best, if not the best, stories of all time. But I'll do that next episode. So, until then, see you later.